Alright, so now that we learned a little bit about trig and finding missing sides, now we're going to start looking at trig and finding missing angles. So we're still going to use our sine, our cosine, and our tangent. Okay. Now, sometimes we're going to have x as our angle, sometimes we're going to have theta, which we'll get into shortly. Let's say I had 5 and 12. Okay, and I wanted to go through and find my missing angle. Well, you're still going to go through and, and label your sides like we did before. So there's my opposite, there's my hypotenuse, there's my adjacent. We're still going to go through and look and see, if we know, in this case we know our opposite, we know our hypotenuse, which means I'm dealing with sine. So it's going to be the sine of x, because we don't know the angle. And sine is my opposite over hypotenuse, so 5 over 12. Now, when you're missing the angle, these are actually the easiest ones to go through and solve for. Take a look at your calculator real quick. Pause the video if you don't have it on you, but find your calculator. Now look at where your sine, cosine, and tangent are. Right up above the sine, cosine, and tangent, you should see a sine with a -1, a cosine with a -1, and a tangent with a -1. Excuse me, and that -1 actually means inverse. And not that it's a big deal, you know what that is in math too, but basically those are the buttons that you're going to use when you have a missing angle. So, since we are missing the angle in a sine, we're going to get that sine to the -1 to show up. And in order to get that to show up, you hit the blue key or the second key, and then you hit sine, and it'll show up just like this. And in the parentheses, you're just going to put this part right here. So you put a 5 divided by 12. And all you do is hit enter, and you are done. That angle, in this case, is 24.62. That's it. Okay, so these you set up the same way as sine, cosine, and tangent. It's just when you're finding an angle, you use the sine with the -1, the cosine with -1, and the tangent with -1. And then your sides, basically your O over H, A over H, or O over H is what goes in the parentheses. Alright, so if you need anything from the screen, go ahead and get it. We're going to do maybe 2 more. I think you'll get these pretty quickly. Okay, so we're going to try these two. So the first one, again, we want to put our opposite, our hypotenuse, and our adjacent. So we know something about a hypotenuse and an adjacent, so that means I'm dealing with cosine. So the cosine of x is my adjacent over my hypotenuse. Again, we will hit the second cosine, which will give me that -1. And we just have to put the 6 over 17 in our calculator. So if I hit second cosine, 6 divided by 17, I get 69.33. Okay. Now, the second one on here, I told you I was going to get to theta here in just a minute. Oftentimes in math 2, when you guys have a missing angle to something, you're going to have an x degrees. But they're going to start introducing you a little bit in math 2. Sometimes it's going to have what's called a theta. Just like a 0 with a slash through it. What that is the Greek symbol meaning missing. So that symbol right there just means missing angle. So don't be alarmed if you see a theta instead of an x. It means exactly the same thing. So again, we're going to label our sides. There's my opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. Well, I know an adjacent and an opposite, so that means I'm dealing with tangent. So the tangent of theta, and you can write x if you want to, it's not a big deal, is, in this case, 5 over 3. So we do the inverse tangent of 5 over 3. And get 59.5 0.04. Okay, so again, these are pretty easy. Just make sure that you can find the missing angle with tangent.